Hey, Dear Tyla, I'm back again after such a long time, after such a long period, and I hope at the back of my mind or at the back of your mind, it's not this thought of like, oh, he's back again, with this attitude of being around and, being available and then unavailable, and all of that. And yeah, so it's been a while. It's been a very, very long time. And to be honest, there was just this whole mental fatigue. And I believe it's, from moments of, moments where there's a lot of stress and you're not being honest about it, right? Being overwhelmed by quite a lot of things and you're not being honest about where you are at a particular place. And that passion, to always be around, be available, and even when your heart is not ready, even when your heart is not steadied and all of that. And I think it's just been an accumulation, right? When I believe like I'm experiencing some level of breakthrough, something happens, one challenge or the other, something causes one level of anxiety here and there. And to be very fair to everyone, being absolutely honest, I did some recordings, right? I recorded some episodes, but I didn't publish them because they were forced, right? Dear Tyla for me is something that needs to be extremely heartfelt. And all the episodes that I had recorded were extremely, extremely forced, and they just didn't sound, true. They didn't sound honest. And I knew that if I had ever released those episodes out, it would have come out in a way that would lack substance. I totally knew that, and I have quite a number of people that listen to Dear Tyla that would easily find me out. They were like, oh yeah, Binga, I know that you made mention of one or two things. You said quite a lot of good things, but then that heart was missing. And, I listened to it and I told myself, like, Binga, this thing is not even blessing you, so don't even do it. Do you understand? And just give yourself time to be able to gather yourself properly. And that's why I took out this long period of time. Now I'm recording this. This is Tuesday night, right? Tuesday the 13th, if I'm not mistaken, 14th of October, right? So this Tuesday night. And literally I'm just coming back from rehearsal. And on my way back from rehearsal, this whole topic just popped into my heart. Like it just came back, just popped into my heart. And I feel, very encouraged, to be able to share this. And I also believe that I'll be able to continue with this because this is going to lead into a series for me as a person. It's going to lead into a series for me as a person. So I just needed to get all of this preamble out of the way. I'm going to apologize for my absence, but the apology is just for, it's not fair that I'd spent so much time, and I think within this year, I've had so many moments of, showing up and then not being around for a while, and then it looks like, oh, Binga is back, we're getting back-to-back episodes here and there, there's so much energy, and then it just shuts out. So I'm apologizing because that's not how it should be. But I also believe that you understand with me that it was very important for me to take out this time to be able to re-energize and, fix up myself. I believe that by God's grace I'm good. I believe that by God's grace I'm fine. And I would continue to give my best, to this, right? I'm really, really trusting God that I'm waving certain seasons in my life goodbye. And, waving it once and for all, totally. But, yeah, so like I said, that's just the preamble. And so, when I was coming back from rehearsal today, in fact, let me start with a story that I heard, not a story, but a testimony that was shared by one of our worship team members, right? That's Fisayo. So, I won't get into the details of it, but he had a particular issue at work. And, it was something that was, causing a whole lot of panic, within his workspace and all. And he, out of, the whole sheer anxiety, because of the whole situation, he reached out to his mom, and told the mom, like, oh, mom, see, this is what's going on, or this is the thing, the challenge I'm facing, like, what do I do? And the mom now said, oh, have you spoken to Jesus about it? And I was like, oh yeah, that's like the first thing I should do. I'm not going to get into the details of it, but that particular thing, it struck with me. Now, he told me this on Monday, but it struck me. It struck me in such a way, like, have you told Jesus? Have you told Jesus? And the thing is, because I've done an episode on Dear Tyla, right, where the episode title is Take It to the Lord in Prayer, right, where God is your first option. In fact, that not just your first option, but he becomes your only option, and that from that space, he can now lead you to where you should go. And, it broke me in so many ways, because I had realized that my first point of call had never been, Jesus. It sounded very, very childlike. So pardon me if you're getting to hear, maybe like music at the background. We have an event center near my house, and I don't know, it's like we've not had light in a while, so light is back now, so everybody is just being gingered to share all these things. I mean, to, do music and all. It's probably someone's birthday, so pardon if you're hearing like background music and all. My God will grant us grace to get better equipment, or probably even move out of this place. But anyway, like I was saying, the statement that his mother made, it will look like, oh, it sounds like something you say in Sunday school, like to a child, like, have you told Jesus? But the honest truth is that childlike faith is what many of us have missed. And I think that that's one thing that I've missed. And so this topic is, I have a father, right? And I'm just going to share a lot of things about it. But it's going to lead me into another topic, probably a series, I could say, of some sort. And this series is called Identity Crisis, right? Identity Crisis. Maybe I'll even start with it and say, okay, this episode is Identity Crisis. The first topic is, I have a father. I have a father. I was having a discussion with a friend recently, talking about people that have had to grow up, early, maybe for certain circumstances, maybe the parents were not around. Now, not in the sense that maybe the parents did something bad or they were irresponsible, but somehow their work setting made them very distant, or they didn't grow up with their parents, they grew up with other people, or maybe sadly, they might have encountered a loss of a loved one, so maybe loss of parents, and they had to step into certain roles at a very early age, right? Now, I'm a person that has experienced some level of that, right? My parents were very much available in the sense, like, they showed up for us, they gave their best and all, but I didn't really necessarily grow up with family, so when I went to secondary school, I'd spend, some time with uncles, with aunties, some cousins here and there, and then occasionally do like the longer breaks because it would give me more time, right? I would go spend with my parents and everything like that. So, not that my parents were absent or irresponsible, no, perfect, amazing people, but because of their different work schedules and then there were different work locations, I schooled in Jos. My mom was in Taraba working, my dad was working in Abuja. So, and because he used to travel a lot, right, even his Abuja stay was not very stable. So the best thing for me at that time was, okay, I've got uncles and aunts, cousins that live in Jos. So after school, I'll go spend, break with them and everything. But to their best, credit to them, to the families, right, where they tried their best to be able to pull me close, make me part of the family. I struggled with connecting with people that were outside of my own family, and it later on graduated into me even becoming very distant with my family and all. And it kind of like, affected my perception, my identity, right? What the perception of myself and everything, my value and my self-worth. So, knowing God as a father was very difficult for me because I didn't get to have these conversations with my dad as I would have loved to or would have been, beneficial to me at that time, right? He showed up as much as he could to be able to give me the best of education, the best of life. And he got so engrossed in his work to be able to give me and my siblings that kind of life, right? So there are a lot of things about relating with a father that I didn't get. My younger brothers and my sisters, they had it a little better in the sense that by the time I'd gone to secondary school, they were, with both of my parents, so they had this level of relationship where they were able to talk to them a lot, but for me, it was just a little bit different. And it created a certain level of, I became, introverted a lot. So I was always in my own skin, in my own thoughts, doing my own things. But like I said, I didn't really have that idea of how to relate with a father or have that perfect relationship with a father, right, where I could build upon. And it affected me in so many ways because, like I said, most of the times when I was with my parents, it was, for short periods of time after school, and because we're in a rush, most of it had to do with, okay, Minga, you're not doing too well in school, and we're giving you the best that we can. Give yourself, to school, do all of that. So a lot of things inside of my heart that were built based on performance, right? So when I think of, my dad and everything, I'm thinking of, all the sacrifices that my father has made for me, all the sacrifices that my mom has made for me, I should be able to live up to tell them thank you, to show them that gratitude for all the sacrifices that they have made. And there were times where I was in need, but because I was so conscious of their sacrifice, which is absolutely okay, I was extremely conscious of their sacrifice. I felt like if I asked for anything from them, I was expressing a level of ingratitude. So I remember way back in Zaire, just because of my passion to please the Lord, and many times in many instances, I prayed a prayer one time. I was like, Lord, even if it means that I have to feel for other people to succeed, do it in me, And I didn't know that I was pushing myself towards that path. I don't believe that God desired me to have it very rough in Zaire, but I did. And you can listen to the episode that I did, one of the first Dear Tyla episodes on that. But I don't believe that God designed it for me, but because that was what my mind told me that I'm meant to do, be sacrificial because they've done so much. When I think about God's goodness in my life, I'm like, oh my God, like my Father in heaven has done so much for me, and I need to show him how much I'm grateful. I need to put in my best, and then maybe I encounter a particular challenge, and I'm like, I need to show the Lord that his investment in me is working, certain things. And I got so used to fixing my problems, right? So used to fixing my problems. And then many times I could go into scripture, like I would read the Bible, study and get light from it. But I'm literally reading the Bible to gain light, to fix my problem, not necessarily to be taught of God or for the Lord to, give me revelation or something like that, right? So I became extremely performance-based, and it's just a struggle. So I'm always thinking of how to show myself worthy of certain things that have come my way or certain things that I've received. I was sharing with the worship team today at rehearsal, and I told them that one of the issues that I had from June down to like this period was, basic financial issues, but it had issues to do with my car. And I was in and out of the mechanic, spent so much money. I had to sadly borrow a lot of money for it, money that I'm still trying to repay and all. But I don't think there was ever a point where I actually told Jesus, like, oh Lord, this car is giving me issues. What do I do about it, And I became so attached to the problem of the car that I totally forgot about the presence of my father. And the car itself was a trigger. It started triggering other things that I was very insecure about, right? So the car itself was not just the issue, but like, this may be vulnerable, but then the perception that people have of me, like, this guy, in the ministry, at least, okay, he has a car. All of a sudden, he doesn't have a car again. What happened? Is he going down? Is he failing in understanding the principles of God? Is this the kind of person that Apostle used to tell us about, And I didn't want to look as if my life was not worthy of certain blessings at certain times, right? And so I found myself under pressure to do certain things. But the moment my mind and my heart detached from these things, right? Like totally detached from the car, like whether the car is fixed or not. Just one period like that, I just dropped it and I was like, once I'm able to fix it, I can fine. Whatever I'm going to do, I said I'll do it. Like the Lord started bringing up resources for me, and I was able to, fix it up, get the right people and everything. But what I'm saying is that I had to shift my focus away from the issues that I was going through and really begin to focus on God, because I had become my own help. Now, is it wrong for us to want to please the Father? By all means, no. In fact, it's what we should live for, right? Pleasing God, pleasing our Father in heaven, making Him proud, right? And, letting Him know that every investment that He has made in our life is being used purposefully. It's absolutely okay. But when you, out of passion, lose consciousness of presence and the person, then you really put yourself in a very difficult position. And after Fisaya, just shared that testimony where his mom was like, have you told Jesus about it? I sat down and I was like, man, Binga, how many things haven't you told Jesus about? Now, it's not about this casual thing like, oh, God, help me, Jesus, please help me. No, like, oh, Father, you sit there and I'm like, okay, Father, I understand that you are my Father. You are Father because you are my source. You are Father because you are my sustainer. You are Father because you are my covering. You are my shield. Right? I am your child because I am incapable of doing some certain things. The benefit of relationship, father-wise, is just, absolutely different. And, I started thinking about times where people cautiously will maybe come and visit my father, and they have to be cautious about it. So, I come from a royal background. My father's a king. And this is something much more recent, right? So, I think he's been king for maybe this is 5th year, if I'm not mistaken. But I can use that as a point of reference where people are always conscious, okay, they want to see my father. They have to put in, that they have to be conscious of it. They can't just barge into places. And for me, it's like, I just go to his room, I just knock on the door. Who is it, Binga? Okay, I come. Do you understand? He's king, but yeah, he's my dad. That makes it absolutely different. Absolutely different. Where when I go to the village, in the palace, for instance, now, if you want to enter the palace, they ask you, okay, where are you coming to see? But when they see me, walking in, gladly, where my mother stays, and then the other palace people, my stepmothers and everything, where they stay, it's really, really, it's like a secluded place, right? Not anybody can enter into that place. It's restricted, so it's not open to everybody. But when they just see me, I just walk in street, and they greet me, oh, Propinga, this, that. Do you understand? But every other person needs permission. So if my father ever catches me in that place, it's not like, what are you doing here? And stuff like that. I can't be punished for it, right? Because the king is not just my king, but he's my father. The advantage of fatherhood stands up for me, right? The advantage of sonship speaks for me. And I started thinking of how many things that I should have enjoyed from my earthly father that I did not enjoy from him because I had a very twisted perception of fatherhood or sonship or my relationship with my father, and how that in itself translated into my relationship with God as my own father. Like, if I should be vulnerable and open to anybody about my flaws, it should be my father. Right? I'm not saying that, I'm not disregarding that some parents didn't show up in the way that they should. No. And so I'm speaking from the position of things being extremely ideal. But I can assure you that my dad is an exceptional father. So it's not that. And that's why I'm speaking from this level. But it was just my own twisted concept of sonship, fatherhood and sonship that really affected me. And now I found it, really creeping into my own relationship with God as my father. And, leaving the rehearsal that day, I was just encouraged by it. Very, very short, powerful testimony that Thyla shared with me, but I was so encouraged. And I was like, have you told Jesus, Pinga, about these things? Have you really told him? Sometimes it's those little childlike statements that remind us of the deep connection that we truly have with God. A deep connection. And I was like, nah, I have a father. I truly have a father. And I was driving home from rehearsal today, and I just said, nope, I have a father. I have a father. And I'm going to engage him in that. Now, having a father is not just the benefit of the things that I receive, the blessings and the goodness, but then the benefit of somebody being absolutely honest with me about my own flaws, my corrections coming, him correcting me, chastising me, and doing all of these things. These are the benefits of fatherhood. And in an ideal setting, the chastisement of fathers remains within that circle. You don't get to hear the stories around, so it's not like God is going to start exposing me and putting all of the things that I'm going through in the hearts of the prophets around the nations. No. We deal with it based on a family basis. But then the benefits you get are just so enormous that I can get corrections from the Father. I can get the Father's rebuke that comes with love. And I know that his rebuke is because he wants to orchestrate my path into something beautiful, into something exceptional. And so I'm just saying, sharing this episode today to just tell you, dear Tyla, that you have a father. No, you have a father in God. And he is a good, good father. I recommend a song this season, and the song is Good Father. I honestly recommend it. Good, Good Father. Whatever version it is that you listen to, that's fine. But just look for Good, Good Father. It's a beautiful song. It's a song that I love so much, and I really hope that song blesses you as much as this episode too, has blessed you, right? But just know this, you have a good father. God is a good father. And I hope that within this period, for however long this series is going to be on, identity crisis, I hope that we'll be able to build that relationship with God as a father and help us correct some of the mindsets, some of the thoughts that we have that have become a hindrance to the blissful relationship, to our blissful relationship with God as a father, right? Hope that the Lord will help us correct a lot of things. But yeah, this is just me pouring out my heart, and yeah, telling you that I'm fine and I'm good. I'm rediscovering the fatherhood of God in my life again, and I'm trying to enjoy every moment of it and learn and pick up, things from all of these moments. And hopefully the edifice of my life will be something that will be beautiful, right? So yeah, this is me signing out. I really hope this episode did bless you, right? So this is me signing out, Tyla. Remember that I love you, I believe in you, and I'm always, always rooting for you. Please do well to share this with others, right? Do have an awesome night, have an awesome day whenever you're listening to this. God bless you.